Hello, my name is Dr. David Boyd, the UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and the Environment. And I'm really honored to be joining you today at the launch of this very timely and important report called Securing the Firewall and Connecting the Unconnected, a report about frontline defenders across West Africa. I'd like to thank Professor Alfred Brownell for the invitation and also say that you're an inspiration, Professor Brownell. And I'd also like to say thanks to the young Liberian activist with whom I shared the stage recently in Stockholm at the Stockholm Plus 50 conference, Radiatu Conplay from Green Advocates International. I continue to be inspired by Radiatu's stories. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are in the midst of a global environmental crisis of unprecedented severity. The climate emergency, the collapse of biodiversity, pervasive toxic pollution, and a rise in pandemics spilling over from wildlife species. The world urgently needs more people to stand up and defend the air, water, soil, biodiversity, and climate that we all depend on. We need more defenders of the right to a healthy environment, children's rights, and other human rights. And yet, in far too many states, it is a dangerous activity to advocate for protecting the environment and human rights. The statistics are ugly. More than 200 documented murders of environmental human rights defenders every year, including West Africa. And that is really the tip of the iceberg. In Benin, Burkina Faso, Cabo Verde, Cote d'Ivoire, Equatorial Guinea, the Gambia, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo, we see common patterns. In each of these nations, environmentalists, farmers, women leaders, indigenous peoples, lawyers, scientists, community leaders, journalists, and social media activists are striving to make the world a more just, equal, and sustainable place. They may not apply the label to themselves, but these people are serving as environmental human rights defenders. Yet instead of being celebrated and honored, these courageous individuals are subjected to harassment, intimidation, violence, and even criminalization. Governments weaponize the law, shrink civic space, and sometimes even endorse extrajudicial killings. Large corporations collude with government, putting private interests ahead of public interests and profits ahead of people. So what can we do to protect these environmental and human rights heroes? Well, we have the UN Declaration on Human Rights Defenders. We have the Human Rights Council Resolution 40/11, specifically on environmental human rights defenders. We have a new Human Rights Council Resolution 48/13, recognizing for the first time at the global level that everyone has the right to live in a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. In a few weeks, we should have a similar resolution from the UN General Assembly. And these resolutions really reinforce the importance of the work that frontline defenders are doing. And of course, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights was the first regional human rights treaty in the world to include the right to a healthy environment. But what we need now, more than words and declarations, is action. We need states and businesses to take action to protect environmental human rights defenders who are at risk. We need the immediate implementation of existing national protection mechanisms and the enforcement of existing laws. Where national protection mechanisms do not exist, they must be enacted and implemented. We must reverse the rollbacks that have occurred during the terrible COVID-19 pandemic, which some states have used as an excuse to weaken environmental laws and shrink civic space. States must build capacity, reduce corruption, and strengthen the rule of law. They should engage national human rights institutions to investigate threats and violence against human rights defenders. Businesses and international financial institutions also have an important role to play in ensuring safe conditions for frontline environmental human rights defenders. These organizations should develop, publish, and implement policies that safeguard human rights defenders and commit to mandatory human rights and environmental due diligence. This timely and vitally important report highlights the amazing work of women and men serving as frontline defenders in 16 West African states, as well as the daunting dangers that they face. Their stories are inspiring, but their abuse is heartbreaking. Our goal must be zero tolerance for violence, zero tolerance for intimidation, and zero tolerance for the criminalization of frontline defenders. We all need to take action to protect and celebrate the brave individuals and communities working to protect our right to live in a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment, working to protect the people we love and this beautiful blue-green planet that we are all so fortunate to share. Thank you very much, and